Let me tell you something straight, and I want you to really hear me, because this right here can change how you move for the rest of your life. When a man hurts you, he is expecting one thing from you. He is expecting a reaction. He is expecting noise. He is expecting emotion that he can measure, control, and understand. That's what most people do. They cry, they argue, they chase, they ask questions, they send long messages trying to explain how they feel. And you think that's power, but it's not. That's exactly what he's prepared for. See, when you respond with emotion right away, you give him clarity. You give him the upper hand. Now he knows exactly where you stand. He knows you're hurt. He knows you care. He knows he still has influence over you. And when somebody knows they still have control over your emotions, they don't feel pressured to change. They feel comfortable staying the same. Silence is something most people don't understand because they think it means weakness. They think it means you don't have anything to say. No, silence means you have too much self-respect to waste your energy. Silence is not empty. Silence is loud. It speaks in ways words never can. When you don't react, when you don't argue, when you don't chase, you introduce something he wasn't ready for, uncertainty. Now he starts thinking. Now he starts wondering, why isn't she calling? Why isn't she texting? Why isn't she reacting the way she used to? And let me tell you something about a man. When he doesn't understand something, it bothers him. It sits in his mind. It keeps him up because now, for the first time, he doesn't have control over the situation. See, confusion is powerful. Confusion makes people question themselves. When you react emotionally, you confirm his expectations. But when you stay silent, you break the pattern. And when you break the pattern, you take back your power. Now, I'm not telling you to be silent because you're playing games. I'm telling you to be silent because you value your peace. There's a difference. When you understand your worth, you don't feel the need to explain it to someone who chose to hurt you. You don't sit there trying to convince somebody to treat you right. That's not your job. Your job is to protect your energy. Let me explain something else. When you argue with someone who hurt you, you are giving them access to your emotions. You're opening the door for more damage because now they can twist your words, ignore your feelings, or minimize your pain. But silence closes that door. Silence says, you don't get access to me like that anymore. Because a lot of people think strength is raising your voice, proving your point, winning the argument. Real strength is walking away without needing to say a word. Real strength is having the discipline to not react when everything inside you wants to respond. And I know it's not easy. I know your heart wants answers. I know your mind is racing with questions. You want to understand why he did what he did. You want closure. But let me tell you something, real closure doesn't always come from the other person. Sometimes closure comes from your decision to stop engaging. Because every time you go back to someone who hurt you just to get an explanation, you're reopening a wound that should be healing. You're giving them another opportunity to hurt you again. And at some point you have to decide that your peace is more important than your curiosity. And here's the part most people don't talk about. When you stay silent, you start to heal faster because you're not constantly reliving the situation. You're not replaying conversations. You're not waiting for a reply. You're not stuck in that emotional loop. You step out of it. And once you step out of it, you begin to see things clearly. You start to realize that the way someone treated you had nothing to do with your worth. It had everything to do with their character. And that realization, that's freedom. Meanwhile, on the other side, he's dealing with something he didn't expect. Your absence, your silence, your lack of reaction. And now he has to sit with his own thoughts. No distraction, no validation from you. No emotional response to reassure him that he still matters the same way. Because now he doesn't know where he stands. He doesn't know if you still care. He doesn't know if he lost you. And when a man feels like he might have lost something valuable, that's when his mindset starts to change. Not because you begged him, not because you argued with him, but because you removed your energy. Energy is everything. Where you place your attention, your time, your emotions, that's your power. And when you take that power back, you force people to feel your absence. So the next time someone hurts you, don't rush to respond. Don't give away your peace trying to express pain to someone who caused it. Step back, be still. Let your silence speak for you. Let me tell you something that most people get completely wrong when they've been hurt. They sit in that pain and start asking, why me? What did I do wrong? How can I fix this? And the whole time, their energy is going in the wrong direction. Because when somebody hurts you, your focus should never be on fixing what they broke. Your focus should be on upgrading who you are. See, a lot of people think growth is something you do when everything is going well. Real growth shows up when life hits you hard. When somebody disappoints you, disrespects you, or walks away from you, that's the moment that defines you. You can either sit there and let it break you, or you can use it to build something stronger inside of you. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. The same energy you use to cry, complain, and replay the situation in your head is the same energy you could use to transform your life. It's not that you don't have the strength. It's that you're investing your strength in the wrong place. When a man hurts you, he expects you to fall apart. He expects your world to revolve around what he did. He expects you to slow down, lose focus, maybe even lose yourself. But when you do the opposite, when you rise, when you improve, when you start moving forward like your life just got an upgrade, that's where the confusion begins. Because now he's looking at you thinking, wait a minute, I thought she was going to break. I thought she needed me. I thought I had that kind of impact on her. And instead, he sees you getting stronger, sharper, more focused. That doesn't make sense to him. Now let's talk about what upgrading yourself really means, because it's not just about looking better or posting pictures like everything is perfect. That's surface level. Anybody can fake that. Real upgrading is internal first. It's about your mindset. It's about how you think, how you respond, how you see yourself. When you've been hurt, you have a choice. You can let that situation define your value, or you can redefine your value despite the situation. You start asking different questions. Not why did he hurt me, but what can I learn from this? Not how do I get him back, but how do I become better than I was yesterday? That shift in thinking changes everything. Then there's your discipline. Pain can either distract you or drive you, and the difference comes down to what you do daily. Do you wake up and stay stuck in your emotions, or do you wake up and decide to take control of your life? You start focusing on your goals. You put more energy into your work, your purpose, your future. You start building something that doesn't depend on anyone else's validation. And that kind of focus, that's attractive. Not just to him, but to life in general. Opportunities start showing up differently when you're moving with purpose. And yes, your appearance matters too, but not in the way most people think. It's not about impressing him. It's about expressing yourself. When you look good, feel different. When you carry yourself with confidence, people notice. But the key is, you're not doing it for attention. You're doing it because you respect yourself. And let me tell you something powerful. Confidence that comes from self-respect hits differently than confidence that comes from seeking approval. One is quiet and strong. The other is loud and fragile. Now imagine this. The same man who hurt you sees you weeks or months later. And instead of seeing someone broken, he sees someone elevated. Your energy is different. Your focus is different. Your presence is different. You're not reaching out. You're not chasing. You're not even looking back. And here's the part that really gets to him. He starts to question his decision. He starts to wonder if he underestimated you. He starts to think about what you're becoming without him. And the more you grow, the more that question gets louder in his mind. See, people don't value what they think will always be there. But when you evolve, when you rise, when you become someone they no longer recognize, that's when they realize what they had. But here's the key: you're not upgrading yourself to prove a point to him. You're upgrading yourself because you deserve better. If your motivation is still tied to his validation, then you're still giving him control. And once you reach that level, something changes inside of you. You don't move the same. You don't settle the same. You don't react the same. You become someone who understands their worth without needing anyone else to confirm it. Let me tell you something that a lot of people learn the hard way. Access is one of the most valuable things you can ever give someone, and most people give it away too freely. Your time, your attention, your energy, your presence, those are not small things. Those are privileges. And when someone hurts you, disrespects you, or takes you for granted, the biggest mistake you can make is continuing to give them the same level of access, like nothing happened. See, when a man knows he can reach you anytime, call you anytime, text you anytime, and you'll always respond the same way, he gets comfortable. Not just comfortable with you, but comfortable with his behavior. Because in his mind, there are no consequences. He can hurt you and still have you. He can disappear and still come back to the same version of you waiting for him. Now listen carefully, because this is not about playing games. This is about setting boundaries. There's a difference. Games are about manipulation. Boundaries are about self-respect. When you give less access, you're not trying to confuse him just for the sake of showing him that your presence is not guaranteed. You stop being available all the time. You stop answering every message immediately. You stop picking up every call like your life revolves around him. Not out of anger, but out of awareness. Awareness that your time has value. Awareness that your energy should be protected. And let me tell you what happens when you do that. At first, he might not notice because he's used to things being easy. He's used to you being there. But as the pattern continues, as your availability decreases, something starts to feel different to him. Because now, instead of you wondering what he's doing, he starts wondering what you're doing. Instead of you waiting for his messages, he starts waiting for yours. That shift doesn't happen because you said anything. It happens because you changed your behavior. People pay attention to what changes. And when you change how accessible you are, you change how people perceive your value. Let me break this down even deeper. When you are always available, you become predictable. And when you are predictable, you become easy to take for granted. There's no mystery, there's no urgency, there's no effort required. Now, he doesn't know when you reply. He doesn't know if you'll be available. He doesn't know if you're still as invested as you once were. And that lack of certainty forces him to think differently. Because human nature works like this, people value what feels limited. People pay more attention to what they might lose. And when you're no longer constantly there, your presence becomes something that can't be assumed anymore. He begins to question things. Why is she different? Why isn't she responding like before? Is she losing interest? Is there someone else? Did I push her too far? And those questions don't come from anything you said. They come from what you stopped giving. Because every time you choose not to respond immediately, every time you choose to focus on your life instead of chasing him, every time you choose your peace over his attention, you are reinforcing your self-worth. You're telling yourself, I don't need to be constantly available to be valued. I don't need to overextend myself to keep someone in my life. And that mindset builds confidence that no one can shake. And let's be real for a moment. A man who truly values you will notice the change and step up. He will respect your boundaries. He will make an effort to earn your time and attention. But a man who only valued your availability, he will struggle because now the easy access is gone. The convenience is gone. And he has to decide whether you're worth the effort. When you reduce access, you are no longer rewarding bad behavior. You are no longer making it easy for someone to come in and out of your life without consequences. You are setting a standard because once you have standards, you move differently. You don't tolerate the same things. You don't accept the same excuses. You don't give the same energy to people who haven't earned it. Now imagine this. He reaches out expecting the same version of you, the one who replies instantly, the one who is always there. But instead, he gets a delayed response or a short reply, or sometimes no response at all, because you're no longer in a position where someone can take advantage of your presence. You're no longer giving away something valuable without receiving respect in return. And here's the truth that most people don't talk about. When you give less access, you create more space in your life. Space for growth, space for peace, space for people who actually deserve to be there. Because not everyone deserves full access to you. Not everyone deserves your time, your energy, your attention. And the sooner you understand that, the stronger you become. So when a man hurts you, don't respond by giving him more of what he already took for granted. Don't reward him with your availability. Don't make it easy for him to keep you in the same position. Let me tell you something that most people misunderstand when it comes to moving on. They think moving on is about pretending, They think it's about acting happy, posting pictures, forcing a smile, trying to show the other person that they're doing just fine. But real power doesn't come from pretending. Real power comes from deciding. When you act like you've already moved on, it's not about faking it, it's about choosing yourself so completely that your behavior reflects a new reality. It's about making a decision in your mind that what hurt you no longer controls you. And once that decision is made, everything about you starts to change. Because understand this, when a man hurts you, he creates an expectation in his mind. He expects you to stay emotionally attached. He expects you to be affected for a long time. He expects that no matter what he did, a part of you will still be there, waiting, hoping, holding on. Now let's go deeper into this, because this is not surface level behavior. Acting like you've moved on is about your energy. It's about how you carry yourself, how you think, how you respond, or more importantly, how you don't respond. You stop bringing him up in conversations. You stop checking his social media. You stop wondering what he's doing, who he's with, or whether he's thinking about you. Not because you don't care at all, but because you care about yourself more. Because when your focus is no longer on him, your energy starts flowing back to you. And when your energy comes back to you, you start rebuilding parts of yourself that you didn't even realize were lost. You start enjoying your own time again. You start laughing without forcing it. You start waking up without that heavy feeling in your chest. And slowly, without even realizing it, you become lighter, freer, stronger. The same person who thought they had an emotional hold on you now sees someone who is calm, at peace, and moving forward like nothing is missing. There's no bitterness. There's no chasing. There's no need for validation. Because in his mind, he thought he mattered more to your emotional state than he actually did. He thought his actions would leave a permanent impact. But when you show up differently, when you carry yourself like someone who has already let go, it forces him to question everything. Now, here's where most people mess up. They try to act like they've moved on, but deep down, they're still holding on. And that always shows. It shows in the way they respond too quickly. It shows in the way they still seek attention. It shows in the way they react when his name comes up. And let me explain something important. Acting like you've moved on doesn't mean you erase the past. It means you stop living in it. It means you accept what happened, learn from it, and then choose not to let it define your future. When you walk into a room, your energy speaks before you say a word. And when you've truly moved on, there's a certain calmness about you. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're not seeking attention. You're simply being, because now he has to deal with the possibility that you are no longer emotionally available to him, that you are no longer affected by his presence or absence, that you have truly moved on. You become someone who understands that. Your happiness is your responsibility. You become someone who knows their worth without needing anyone else to confirm it. You become someone who can walk away from anything that doesn't align with your peace.